I turned it down, but I'm not used to it being so quiet, so it's sort of like just drowned it out. As we have got to the top right-hand side, our blue Terran player from O Gaming. Oh, he's going to open with the proxy racks here. Let's do this then. This is MarineLorD. And he is up against the red Zerg in the bottom left-hand side. It's apparently called on Cascade. I didn't know that. This is SortOf. And what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us today. And let's enjoy the last few matches that we have for today's WCS qualifier. Again, though, more of the same tomorrow. Going to be awesome. Going to be a lot of fun. I'm feeling it right now. I was really tired before, but right now I'm feeling it. I'm so hyped up. I'm set. I'm ready. I'm loving it right now. As you see the triple racks coming down. Oh, a pool first from SortOf, though. So SortOf is instantly going to find not only... He's only going to open pool first. He won't see... Ooh. I think he will see the racks here as well. Yeah, in fact, he'll very easily see the barracks here as he moves up this side. So he's going to go pool first, see the racks. Is he? No! Just. I mean, honestly, turn a slight second sooner he doesn't. But again, pool first in general is already good for him. Now he goes into a spy. Now he goes into the couple of lings, the queen. MarineLorD is going to start waiting for his marines, couple SCVs, and get ready to move forwards. Pull first doesn't mean straight up that SortOf is just going to win the game, but it does make it much easier defense for him. Biggest issue, no creep on the low ground, so if you want to defend the low ground base, the spine crawler can't come down there right away, or if it does, it's not going to be burrowed right away, right? So you got to try and buy time for the spine to get burrowed on the low ground, and that can quite often be the game changer. There's two SCVs in the Marines. Starting to press forwards here. We'll see. He sees that this is not a hatchery first. The spine crawler starting to move around a little bit. Marines doing a little bit of damage. Hatchery will finish the first bunk on the way up. A couple of lings starting to go down. Ooh, surrounds a couple of the SCVs actually. SCVs continue to pull backwards. And that's it. That's the opportunity to maybe get this spine crawler burrowed. I mean, get some damage onto it, but there isn't that many Marines right now, so the spine goes down so slowly, and that's instant target fire on the SCV on the bunker, and MarineLorD just will not do anything with this at all. Well, he's going to try and finish up the bunker as the spine does target the SCV. I mean, expected, right? Spine takes quite a lot of damage, though. A few more lings popping out. Bunker has to cancel. That's a little bit rough as we see MarineLorD is... I mean, that spine is so low. I think he just wants to try and dive for it, but he's just losing more and more Marines. And now, I mean, a couple of drones on the way up as well. Even if you pull the SCVs here as MarineLorD, right? I mean, you've lost so many Marines, you're not going to have that many to pull the SCVs with, so that's going to be very painful. A couple more Marines are in the center of the map, moving in towards the upper right, and Overlord from SortOf hanging out on the far right as well. Couple of gases coming down, and we do see those racks have obviously lifted up and backing away. Going to try and expand and transition out of this one. He's going to land the first racks on this side, the second racks over there. That's because he's going to play Mech, so I guess he doesn't care about what these racks do. So he's just going to get those racks landed in position to try and block the third base from being taken. Now, SortOf is up by 11 workers, and that's only going to increase right now because he feels so safe. He doesn't have to make anything other than drones for a little while. So that's nice. I mean, a couple little things from MarineLorD that might help him to start getting back into this. He goes double expansion of his own. Factory on the way up. Obviously, any sort of aggression would be maybe very bad for him, but obviously that's not what SortOf's going for here. Oh my god, MarineLorD doesn't get either of the low health queens. 15 health and 5. I mean, that is a kick in the teeth. MarineLorD, this has already gone bad enough for him, and now he lost his last few Marines chasing tank queens that just didn't die. Built a Marine, because I guess he thinks he can probably get out with the Marine, especially if the Queen is a target fire in this barracks. Then he might be able to get the Marine out and get a couple of shots off that he needs. Ah, look at this though. Drops the transfusion, brings the other Queen, the low Queen back. MarineLorD realizes that this is going to be very well done by SortOf, and so he is just going to cancel the Marine. Doesn't waste that 50 minerals. Meanwhile, Rotron coming up on the natural expansion. We see the factory building a reactor at home and the starport about to finish. Yeah, MarineLorD's about to be on triple command centers, so that's going to be his attempt to, again, get back into this game a little bit. He'll have the third CC finished before the Zerg has a third hatch, but remember, he's also down 20 workers, so the income is massively, massively in favor of SortOf at the moment, so that's huge for him. Even if he doesn't have a third hatchery, his economy is currently better. Not having a third hatch, the biggest issue might be kind of unit production, because he'll be missing some lava here or there. But obviously he doesn't need that much unit production, because MarineLorD's not exactly set up to do a lot himself. His production is late. So, yeah, it's going to be a rough one for MarineLorD still. Sort of definitely an advantage. MarineLorD's even going to throw down a fusion core, so he's going to try and follow up with a battle cruiser. Or Liberator range. He is making a Liberator already. Doesn't actually have a tech lab for the starport yet, so... this Overlord, is he going to see the fusion core? Liberator's going to help defend. Not seeing the fusion core is nice, though. Because if he saw the fusion core, obviously, he would have a good idea about what's coming up as a follow-up. Now, of course, he doesn't as he goes into that tech lab. So, obviously, it just kind of looks pretty regular for MarineLorD, but if a BC suddenly shows up and, obviously, the Terran Zerg players aren't prepared, that could hurt. So there's a battlecruiser getting started, the Liberator coming across the map, and a few Hellions maybe looking to try and drive by at the same time. This troop is already so far forward though, and that's the thing, you've not really had much presence on the map as MarineLorD here, so the creep has been allowed to just do what it wants, and these queens are just going to keep on spreading it. Liberator does see jump and is getting a couple kills though, so in fairness, I mean, there's some damage for you. That's quite nice, a few drones, I mean, anything you can get right now from MarineLorD. You kind of need to start dragging yourself back into this game. Armory's going to be on its way as well, so just getting in towards that. This is going to be a battlecruiser with your model cannon. How many queens are there? 7? And there's a spore crawler per base? There's a spore crawler on the main and the natural, but not on the third. Obviously on the third is risky though, because then you're not over any dead airspace or near any dead airspace as the BC, so escaping is not always a guarantee. Battlecruiser pop should just teleport straight across the map. You would imagine, maybe he hasn't noticed he has it yet. Oh, still hasn't moved it. First CC comes in position, alright, here we go. Teleports into the back of the main at the same time. Hellions want to run by into the third base. Motors that queen down right away. Will start to get some of these drones. The Hellions have to be careful though. They're moving into Hellbats, but the roaches are there. Oh no, if they move back into Hellions, that's not going to be pretty either. Infestation pit on the way down. Is MarineLorD going to be going into Mech behind this? Cinches up the Liberator, but I mean, all that's really going to do is get one shot off on a queen, that's all. Buys maybe a couple of shots away from the BC. They'll try and escape up the top side. Roach counterattack though, and this is where MarineLorD will be very weak because he has not got those extra factories up. In fact, he has nothing but Hellions. I mean, another battlecruiser is going to finish, but this is a ton of roaches just running in towards the natural expansion, maybe straight up in towards the main even. Depot doesn't get raised, and here we go. SCVs and a battlecruiser have a dream. But, I mean, you motto down one roach. This is already amazing for SortOf. I mean, you're killing 25 plus workers. You're going to get rid of a good amount of the army. I mean, there's no way this is going to be bad for you. GG's, and SortOf is going to pick up game number 1 of this best of 3. Just like that. In, and I will cast this series in full. Again, we're just bringing you some highlights and so on to fill some downtime on the other matches. Just keep the content moving along nicely. Let you guys watch as much StarCraft as possible. As we have got to the top left side, our blue Terran player. This is MarineLorD. Up against the red Zerg in the bottom right. From Cascade, SortOf. Okay, so MarineLorD versus SortOf. Best of 3, game 2 here. Obviously, MarineLorD opened free racks in that last game, so we never really got to see him play a proper macro game, right? Like, he was playing a game from a big deficit, because his free racks did not do anywhere near enough damage to make anything at all work, so he's definitely playing from behind, so we'll see if he can turn this around somewhat. And obviously in the macro game, maybe he'll, you know, maybe in a macro game, he'll just show us he's a much stronger player if it's just regular from the start and isn't you know, super far behind. Anyways, hatch, gas, and pool set up already from SortOf here, so he's getting that going. Reaper is on the way out from MarineLorD, and the other game, TvZ, on Parasite of all maps, is obviously looking good. I mean, Parasite is this nice large map. Really takes us into much lengthier games usually. I mean, for MarineLorD, who's been playing Hellion Cyclone, this is like the map to go wild on, because you have so many bases to expand into. You have so many different pathways to attack along. You can rotate your units through the middle of the map quickly. It is like the absolute dream of a map to play on for Hellion Cyclone. So, this could be a long one. And I kind of feel like we kind of already know what sort of setup we're going to be doing, going for here in the near future. From MarineLorD. Just a quick update. Mana does pick up game 1 against Cass. I mean, we left that game with pretty much every single advantage being in Mana's favor, so that is not much of a surprise. And as you see, the Reaper comes in, picks away the drone, and just going to be seeing MarineLorD. Just going to have to keep on backing away here. There's a few extra drones on the way out. Another queen coming in. And again, a third hatchery dropping in from SortOf as well. So gets that going now on the bottom side. Up to the left, we do have an Overlord as well. SortOf pushing up towards the top left-hand side of this. Starport is about halfway done at the moment, so Starport about halfway done here. And as we do have the Overlord just chilling out in the middle, not getting too close to anything just yet. And as we have got the third hatchery coming down in the lair already. Okay, so SortOf is actually maybe going to get a little bit aggressive himself, because he's getting this lair up right away. I'm intrigued. I'm interested in what this turns into. Reaper and the two Hellions here from MarineLorD are going to be hanging out and just chilling around in the center. Cloak and the Banshee coming up as well. So MarineLorD is changing up his style, of course. I mean, we expected, although we haven't seen many Cloak Banshees from him in general today. So, having casted a bunch of his TvZ, definitely kind of seen his builds and stuff. But yeah, definitely bringing the kind of Cloak Banshee in. Completely different to what we've previously seen. So, I mean, it's nice to get transitions into the Hellion style and the Cyclone style very well. I mean, it keeps you very safe also, which is probably very good against the fact that this is going to be a Nidus attack. Can MarineLorD figure that out, though? The Nidus network is up in the main base with the Roach-drone here. MarineLorD has very limited scout. He has a Reaper. If he sent the Reaper around into the main, he would be able to see this. Even just seeing the lair could send the alarm bells ringing and tell him that, oh my god, well, there's something coming. What is it? I've got to figure it out. Because even if it was a Spire, you would have to know sooner rather than later to be able to get 4s up. But he's very reluctant to send that Reaper around into the main base. And I find that, I mean, I get it. The Reaper grenade is nice and so on. But what's nicer? Having a Reaper grenade to bob some units every 15 seconds? Or having a scout on the all-in that's about to kill you? Remember, if MarineLorD falls here, there's potential to see him tomorrow in the qualifier as well. So it's not the end of the world for him. He can still qualify for WCS Winter. There's SortOf isn't going to be qualified just yet either. We'll have to play against, I think, Geralt after this to try and qualify. Slowlings are the first out of the Nidus, which is interesting. You're going to be seeing the Queens now coming out as well. Going to make this tough. A couple of Widowmines coming up, another Banshee on the way. It's just tough to get rid of these Queens. That's the biggest issue. Because the Queens are going to be good against the Banshees, and that is going to really, really suck. As SCVs pull in, surrounding those Roaches. The Hellions have made it back home. Only 11 workers lost so far, I feel. It's not that bad. Okay, now 16. Obviously, still will be rising up. Widowmines, though, going to burrow in on the Queens. He ran a bit too deep. He could have burrowed up here and got these 2 Queens here, maybe. I feel like he missed a bit of an opportunity. There's no Overseer. Why on earth is there not an Overseer? Did he make a Dropper Lord instead of an Overseer? Oh no, I think he made a Dropper Lord instead of an Overseer. Now SortOf doesn't have the gas. I was wondering what on earth is that Dropper Lord for. But that means he loses all of the Queens. An absolutely huge mistake from SortOf is going to cost him potentially the ability to keep on pushing here. Because now these Banshees will be able to clean up single-handedly. And MarineLorD has triple CC. He's only 5 workers behind. He should actually be pretty fine with this. His position is really not bad at all. You got one more Banshee started up. You'll turn and get rid of that Queen that's low already. And these last few roaches go down. Like, if Hellions are dropping, that's fine. They're not exactly great in the defense or anything. And I mean, now it's about workers and what you already have. And it's 29 to 27. MarineLorD's got a couple of creep tumors to get rid of here. 1 or 2 final roaches will go down. And it doesn't take much to get rid of those. MarineLorD just builds his SCV camp back up at this stage, looking to re-establish his position in the game. To these Banshees from MarineLorD coming out into the center of the map. He sends one back. He actually does find this Nidus on the way up here, so it looks as though that might be able to finish actually. How many queens we got? 2? It's not enough. 2 queens against triple Banshee. It's not enough, and the Nidus is going to go down so quickly anyways once he finishes. Another Nidus coming in at the front. I mean, SortOf is committing to this. He added a couple of drones, but not many, and he's mostly making roaches and extra queens now to go for round 2 of this attack. I mean, here we go. The units are going to get out the front, but there's a wall off at the front here as well, remember. As, I mean, the Banshees show up. They, well, get one of the queens down to half health. He lost a Banshee, though. That's a shame. Building a Liberator now. I mean, he needs the Banshees, really, because there's nothing else that actually cleans up armies here. Roaches are actually very good in this situation still. Is this still too much from SortOf? I mean, maybe. Maybe. That Banshee has to pull back again. Needs to repair that. Needs to repair both the Banshees, really. Like, these roaches are coming through into the natural. MarineLorD can lose a lot of workers this time. He's very far up in worker count. Obviously, he still has the triple command center, right? So, he can still kind of work with that. As you can see, this queen in the front goes down. Another queen coming in the back. There's a spore crawler now as well, but a Liberator sieges up. I love that. Because now the queens will not be able to come forwards. Not at all. And that first queen goes super low. That's so painful right here. So painful. Liberator can turn around and change position if it wants to. MarineLorD is brought back down to 26 workers, but again, with 29 of SortOf, he's completely fine to be on this worker count. He can afford to lose these workers. It's crazy to say, but it's the way it works. Third orbital will have to lift up. Some more roaches trying to make it in. Liberator reposition. The Banshees still have to be super careful here, though. He needs to make sure those Banshees stay repaired because they are so important to this defense. If he doesn't have these Banshees, he's in so much trouble. I mean, Liberator setting up. You notice a couple of them just jump back into the Nidus, or was it just jumping out of the Nidus, maybe? Another Liberator sieges on the natural expansion. Hellions starting to poke forwards. 2 more factories on the way up from MarineLorD. Roaches taking quite a lot of damage here. The Liberator damage is pretty insane right now. Oh, the Banshees have to be careful with the Spore Crawler, though. Oh, he'll get the queens with the Spore Crawler again. Is actually doing a lot. And Banshee's still alive. Liberator repositions. We lost one of the Liberators. Yes, that Spore Crawler is actually the biggest issue at the moment. That one single Spore that's keeping SortOf's dream alive. Again, obviously, SortOf, he's very committed to this because he was on a low worker count, etc. And even when he kills so many workers of his opponent, he's kind of forced to keep on all-inning because he's on such a bad composition. And with the triple CC, MarineLorD's economy will be amazing eventually as well. And that's kind of the issue here is now, I don't think queens can come out fast enough. So he cancels those 2 spores. The Banshees are back to dealing damage to these roaches. I mean, it's just a bunch of damage dealt once again. Going to kill off this Nidus network. And MarineLorD is once more building up his SCV count. Now he's got double factory down, building siege tanks. So he's going to be able to get into siege tanks. I mean, that is absolutely a game ender against those roaches. Like, there is just no way this goes any different. Like, it's just a game ender. Like, what more can you say? I mean, tank sieges up, roaches come out. I mean, a couple of drones as well. And it kind of feels like SortOf's just sort of YOLOing anything he can in. Try and do something. The first, the queens disappear so quickly. The queens just got absolutely deleted. GG's. And MarineLorD will take game number 2 of this. In fact, cast just 1 game 2, so that's going to a game 3. Just sometimes I do need to take a couple of minutes for myself and just chill out a second. So it's not always possible to jump into those games. So apologies for that. Bottom right side. Our red Terran player is MarineLorD. Top left, our blue Zerg is SortOf. Again, I mean, such a simple thing, making sure you have got the just making sure you've got an overseer, but obviously for what he had, he made a misclick. It's a huge mistake to make, though. It's a huge mistake to make. You cannot have, when your opponent's defense relies on cloak banshees, you cannot just not have detection when you've got the queens there. It's ridiculous. You've got to be able to have that overseer. SortOf will be kicking himself for that, I'm sure. I'm sure I don't need to rant and rave on about it. Just going to be seeing the spawning pool is coming up with a gas here from SortOf. It's not a pre-overlord. It's not a pre-overlord gas pool, but still pool gas and a hatch. I mean, it's a little bit more of an aggressive or safe setup in case MarineLorD free racks is again. So SortOf just playing the safety open end. We'll see what he does with the pool first. 2 lings for now. I mean, just 2 lings aren't that annoying to deal with from MarineLorD, so it definitely feels more so that SortOf is thinking about just being safe against the free racks than he is about, you know, dealing with the opening of MarineLorD here or dealing any damage himself. So, you guys think SortOf should change the hotkey for Dropper Lord and Overseer? Grizzly Adam says I put the hotkeys on a different keyboard. It's like whenever you need to play a Dropper Lord play, you crack out keyboard 2 from your back guy. Oh shit! You like throw the USB dramatically. It loops around the back of the table and like swings into the you know, the USB port. It connects, it lights up, and you're like, B Dropper Lord. Meanwhile, you've lost the game because you just spent 20 seconds doing a slow-mo action replay of you, you know, plugging a keyboard in and pressing B. As did you see, this Reaper of MarineLorD is heading in towards the upper left side. Coming in right away and just going to be seeing what's up. Obviously safe to do so because he found those 2 Zerglings, so those 2 lings are not going to be able to slow anything down or anything there. As you do see Queen Roaches on the way up, so SortOf again, super early attack setting up here, and those Roaches are going to be seen by MarineLorD, so he knows what's going on. Now he's already got a Starpod on the way up, and I get the feeling you put a Tech Lab on that Starpod ASAP to get a Banshee out right now. As you have the couple of Roaches continue to press through the center. Rax goes to the reactor. Factory comes over here. Either Widowmine or Tech Lab has to be. I'll say I feel like Tech Lab for the okay, Widowmine. Widowmine works too. I've got a, you know, Roach super low. 2 Hellions run by. Drone's already on the way up, so we've seen, I mean, low ground bunker as well. He's actually probably okay here, MarineLorD. With drones on the way up from SortOf, there's not going to be much of a reinforcement to this. So all he has to do is survive a little while, and he's kind of doing that right now. Extra Marines jumping in. He has more SCVs, able to repair this bunker up, and with the bunker being repaired like this, I think that's probably going to be okay. A couple more workers going down. Drones going down as these Hellions run by in towards the main. 6 drones going down. Actually, really nice damage as he does lose 6 workers himself. But obviously, SortOf gave up a lot of workers to be able to do this and, you know, sort of attack so early anyways. MarineLorD loses more SCVs though still. That's now 10-11. What's on the way out? In the end, he built a Liberator. Loses this bunker now just as it's only 2 Ravagers remaining. 27 to 22 workers. I'll take it. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's okay. Hero SCVs, but he's going to lose a few of them because of that, man. I mean, that's actually kind of bad. Oh, the Ravager didn't chase properly. Okay. Is there anything to kill the Ravager? Oh my god. 14 workers killed. A few Marines on the high ground as the Ravager will go for another SCV. Doesn't know where to go there, actually. And SCVs will pull in just to make sure that is going to be that cleaned up. They have a tough position. Liberator will not get into the main either. I was seen by this Overlord, so SortOf had a good idea about it. Thing is, third hatchery is again delayed from SortOf. Obviously, this time there's no third CC though. It's just one of the negatives having your third hatch late in this situation. Rax goes to the side, factory on the reactor after making a tank. Oh, is it going to counter push? This can be pretty cool for the fact that obviously there's not a lot of units on the map right now. There's like a Ravager and a Roach. So actually, he's making a few more Roaches as well, but with a tank behind these rocks, there's some real potential here, I think. He's got that Liberator still up too, so If you can pull Queens out of position and get damage with the Liberator, that would also be pretty awesome for himself. Well, let's see if we can cancel the third hatch here. I mean, first Roach running in. Tank will turn to fire onto it. There's that Liberator. Siege up for a couple of drones and will be committed to behind the mineral line now. Oh, he turns to fight it. I mean, he gets the Ravager. He will get one of the Roaches. He'll get the next Roach. Now he's going to try and target the Queen. Man, that hatchery is low as well for some kind of a follow-up. Maybe Cloak Banshee or something. The Liberator ends up in the natural expansion where it will not kill the Queen. But it gets the Queen low on a couple of drones and still has been an annoyance. MarineLorD finds himself up by 5 workers. He still has these few Marines just poking and prodding around. Meanwhile, 2 more factories coming in at home, getting set up into the 3 factories play now. And again, the Hellions and the Banshee are going to come across to maybe try and actually finish off that third hatch. And that's actually kind of a big deal. Hellions will run by. We'll just go for the couple of drones there. Banshees, I mean, there's 2 Queens, so you have to be a little careful. Oh my god, more drones just arrived! Uh-oh. That's now 6-7 drones going down. There's a drop in the main base as well as these Hellions will get another one. Gets cleaned up. Marines drop back down. We'll probably want to just target fire down a drone. There's 2 more shots on the Queens, brings them low, makes the Banshee have an easier time, although Banshee did get killed. Does have Cloak and is building Banshee number 2, but yeah, losing the first one, a bit of a shame. 11 workers killed then, but everything from MarineLorD cleaned out. Workers are even. Slight army lead to the Zerg, but he's playing Roaches, so is an army supply lead ever actually a thing when you're playing Roaches? I'd like to say no. There's 4 Hellions from MarineLorD coming forward. Picks up a creep to him right away there. And again, these Roaches from SortOf spreading out a little bit. These Hellions and MarineLorD decide to back away there. So that makes sense. I mean, you gotta pick your dives carefully, right? As Banshee number 2 now going to the left side. There's still no detection. Oh, there's an Overseer, okay. I was gonna say, there's no Spore Crawler here. But obviously there is an Overseer, so that's good enough. Well, straight into the mineral line. Finds 3 workers, a lot of them low now, so the next shot will do a little bit more damage. Again, 7 workers, when you keep building Hellions, I think is absolutely fantastic. Because you're, you know, as MarineLorD, you're happy to keep building Hellions. He's playing Mech. So it's not like you're losing your only Hellions if you were playing Bio and you're losing map control, etc. But with Mech, it's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm killing 7 more drones. These Hellions are completely replaceable, and I will be replacing them. I will have more map control. This one Carapace is about to finish up, and well, SortOf is not making any more drones. He's making only Roaches, so he's decided to opt in for the Roach Ravager all in here, without even +1/+1, just +1 Carapace. But I feel like the siege tank count from MarineLorD is already pretty decent. We'll see if he tries to defend a 3rd base here, MarineLorD. I feel like he's going to see these Roaches and be like, nope. Okay, he's going to defend the high ground. That's fine. Marines are going to come down here initially. SCVs pull away. Yeah, I actually like the high ground defense. That's fine, because this ramp is obviously kind of difficult to push up anyways. We've seen a couple of Banshees for a couple of shots already. Throws a ballast. The tank on the high ground goes down. So that did cost him at least 1 Ravager, and the other Ravager goes low. This tank's like, oh, open space. I'm in. Count me in. 10 workers killed at the moment from SortOf. It's okay, but remember, he's down on 52 workers. So as he drones up now, he only just takes a worker lead. I mean, this is a Mech army that you're not really tacking up against those SCVs. For a moment, I thought the Cruiser Bar might have been on the stack of them as they came into mine again. The Queen started back away, so the Banshees are going to make the most of that and jump on these units. The Transfuse saves a Ravager. Good save, actually. Real good save. That's actually really solid. 3rd base lands back in position here from MarineLorD. So 3rd base back down and running. Still have more tanks and so on moving across. We do see the Roaches and the Ravagers of SortOf are hanging out in the center of the map. Hive on the way up. Hydraless Den about to complete as well. And you still see those 1-1 vehicle upgrades going through from MarineLorD. SortOf will opt to go into the Hive tech here, probably just for the fast Vipers. Again, Banshees just in the middle of the map are going to find Ravagers. Ravagers are so expensive to lose. It's 100 gas loss. And Banshees just picking up whatever damage they can. Scans for some crew spread as well. I mean, obviously, always good especially as he's going to go into Cyclones now, so he wants to kind of have no creeps so he can take as much map control as possible. Definitely worth a second scan as well, so creep getting pushed all the way back. Remember, those queens came across the map for a while as well, so you also have the fact that there's actually, you know, queens have just been rebuilt and so on, so creeping has not been a priority either, so nice to push that all the way back and to make sort of have to focus on it once more. Two vehicle upgrades now. And as you see, the 4th command center will start up, and the 5th. I mean, at this point, you just want to start expanding and keep expanding. Generally, the best way to go about it is already Hellions diving in towards the 3rd base. Again, how many drones have sort of lost this game? 35. These two are playing a very aggressive series in general now. You see Banshees, well, going to work on this hatchery. Cyclones as well. Roach is coming over. Cyclones will start kind of way. Couple of tanks, but not quite sieged up to begin with here. Hellbat's trying to get in the front. Banshee's still trying to deal damage. I mean, tanks will on siege, and the base did end up going down, which is kind of what you came here to do, right? So, kills the Overseer as well. Suddenly there's no detection. MarineLorD knows that, and so he dives in with the Banshees. Drone's going down. The Viper is locked onto as well. He'll lose that kill. No, he won't. It somehow stays locked on. Oh, Viper loses the opportunity. Spawn the low ground picked up as well. Well, Roach counterattack by SortOf will try and do something, but tank defense is way too good. Oh my god. And there's so many tanks here now that pressing forwards, MarineLorD is just going to slow siege into the natural, and at that point, you're in trouble. With 1-1 upgrades done and 2-2 over halfway done as well, like this mech army is so powerful right now. So powerful. Just going forward. There's some blinding clouds on top of these tanks. One tank goes down and abducts on a tank as well. I mean, the thing is, you don't kill these tanks while they're in blinding cloud, though. So now they come out and they're going to get shots off. Even if you clean them up, you've lost a lot in the process, and that's the whole issue. I mean, there's still a tank or so in the background. There's still reinforcements streaming across from MarineLorD. Let's make sure he doesn't get too overly aggressive, though. I mean, right now, with purely Hydras here, it kind of feels like he could maybe take a step back and chill out a little bit, build up his army, because he just lost a few extra units there that never really were destined to do much, honestly. That's 2 creep tuners. Still coming down in the center. Down the left, we do have the few Hydras and Roaches going to gather up as he tries to take the 4th base on this far left-hand side. Still building. Well, he still had a lot of tanks up. He is going back in towards Cyclone production now. MarineLorD takes that 4th and 5th base at the same time, more or less. Because again, he's set up, and again, mining as much gas as he can. One tank that was left behind, unfortunately. He's left all on his own. You know, it's not a fun tank life as a tank. You know, you see your friends die, and then you see your death running towards you in Roach Hydra form. Not pretty. Not pretty at all. Roaches and Hydras down the right side then, as we see the Hydras and the Roaches on the left, sort of. Going to be setting up now. We do have the Vikings, tanks, Hellbats, etc. hanging out in the middle. More Vikings getting ready to go. Scans on top of these Hydras and those Roaches. A couple of units coming around the right side here, and Planetary Force will hold those off for the moment. Actually going to get picked off by Cyclones. Well, you know, sort of. I kind of want to believe a little bit. He's got Vipers up. I just feel like MarineLorD has the answer to everything. Like, it's going to come down to how you take the engagement, obviously. And I just feel as though MarineLorD's been so good when he's gotten into this position before today. And SortOf has been super eager to end these games early. That I just don't think he's comfortable against this. Let's see what happens right now. You're going to see some abducts on tanks and Cyclones. I mean, that's where the Vipers really come into their own. Those abducts are amazing for shutting down the Cyclones. Maybe that's something that's worth thinking about here, because the fact that we never really saw the players against MarineLorD earlier today when they won against this, they never had like super early Vipers before the pressure started like this did. I mean, obviously it's been kind of weird pressure throughout the game, but if we talk about the Cyclone-based pressure, that's only really just started now. Consumes coming through Evo Chamber. being used to eat up some energy for those Vipers there. Oh, Viking gets abducted. And we'll be seeing the second Viking picked up as well. There's a couple of Vikings getting picked up there. And again, we see some of these Cyclones starting to come up in towards the center of the map. So they're going to move in towards the middle. And you do see Cyclones be able to pick away at a couple of these creep tumors. So a couple of creep tumors going down. And we do have the, well, again, the Cyclones on the right-hand side going to lock on. And they're going to work their way through this hatchery. So Cyclones working their way through the hatch. And those Roaches and Hydras go into position pretty quickly to push those away. There's the starports added on here as well from MarineLorD. We're going to be seeing that fusion core being brought down as well. Meanwhile, by the way, Cass just picked up game 3 against Mana. Mana's eliminated, and Cass will advance to play against Harstom, I believe. Oh, yeah. Alright. Couple Liberators continue to siege up here. Vikings there to push armies away. MarineLorD playing the more defensive position. Maybe a little afraid of what these Vipers can do. Gets one of them though. Gets two with the Cyclone lock on. Oh man, but the Cyclones are getting abducted to crazy levels. Cyclone's going to come in and going to be able to get rid of a whole bunch of extra drones here. Actually, not just the hatchery going to go down. Going to kill that spine crawler, and wow, these Cyclones have had a pretty good time. It's a lot of drone kills. They'll be killed off, but 14 workers, spine, and a hatch. Well, I'll take that. I will take that. Viper's going to come in, consume up this evolution chamber, makes a bunch more of them. Again, you just keep the energy high. MarineLorD probably could expand up to the... I guess not, actually. This army up here from SortOf makes it difficult, so he expands down to the bottom instead. I was looking, it feels like this area of the map's empty, but I guess SortOf is starting to kind of pressure there. Sieging up on multiple fronts, some abducts coming through. The Liberators keep on sieging as the Cyclones will be all abducted in once more. Man, SortOf's actually just doing this. Like, the Cyclones just aren't doing anything for MarineLorD in any of these fights at all. And now SortOf's gone south towards a Greater Spire. He's going to have Broodlords. I just don't see what the answer to the Broodlords is right now. He's building Liberators and Lib-Range. Maybe that's a bit late to deal with the Grand Army of Hydras. Could have done with that a little while ago, because Lib-Range is very good against Hydras. Obviously, he's just been building Cyclone after Cyclone, and Cyclones have just... The Cyclones have done best counterattacking. I think the whole big issue here from MarineLorD is that from the very start of this, he's just not really had the control and the momentum that you usually get with the Hellion Cyclone style. Because he kind of went for those tanks and that little bit of a weird push, and, you know, from there, it kind of transitioned into more traditional mech, but then he added some Cyclones in, and I just feel it was like a bit of a mix of everything, and that's definitely hurting him a little bit there. I'm just going to be seeing those few Vipers still consuming up. Getting the energy back, eating up those Evo Chambers time and time again. Jaina is going to be seeing the attacks coming in. Abducts coming through. I mean, a couple of lib shots. SortOf is just good, though. I mean, the fact he got this bottom left base up and he's got this base top side up now. He's got good economy. I mean, okay, MarineLorD's going to have some good income as well, but he cannot stay maxed out. These Vipers are in such high numbers that he's actually just losing units faster than he can build them at the moment. More Liberators sieging up. The tank fire is good on a couple of those Hydralisks already. So Hydras take a little bit of damage right there. Hydras now out into the center of the map. Missile turret gets picked off. Other Hydras down the right side. SortOf probably wanting to push in. He's going to be seeing those Hydras. Going to jump straight onto the Planetary Fortress. And that will go down nice and swiftly. So Planetary picked off just like that. And now MarineLorD is also just losing his own income. And that's getting very painful. I mean, the more of this he loses, the more he's going to suffer in this. I mean, it already looks tough for him. And now he's one base down. I mean, the Broodlords are also on their way. We mentioned those before. So he gets picked off. Abducts on a Liberator. We do see an Overseer getting picked off as well. On the right side, some Hydras going to be moving up. Now in the center of the map, we have those army coming in again. New command center gets picked off once more. No luck right there. There's a couple of abducts coming through. Goes trying to snipe, but they just get abducted through right away. He's going to try and build a nuclear MarineLorD. I mean, I wanted to say I like the idea, but it's tough, isn't it? Where's the Broodlords? 5 broods are just sat at home. Like, I mean, SortOf is just slowly replacing other units that he loses with Broodlords. I guess eventually he's just going to do march broods across the map or so. Just coming back. Lost tab? Sure I can. 33k to 27k. I mean, usually when you trade with like MarineLorD style, it's meant to be the Terran, who is obviously way in favor. Hydra's just going to be hanging out. Do you see these Vipers? Just getting set to go. Broods are coming through. You see, fires obviously takes a little bit of damage there. Abducts coming through on those ghosts. And again, just going to be seeing a few more ghosts going down. Nice abducts. A few Hydras down the right side. Still ready to push in that base or just to deal with run bys or anything. Man, again, it's like a few snipes went off, but what did they end up actually killing? Not really anything at all. Viper's going to come into the left side, consume up that extractor. Broods are still pressing forwards. And, well, again, there's a few Vikings here, but nothing that the rest of this army can't deal with, probably, as we see. Broodlords keep on dropping down. That Planetary Fortress is seemingly in a lot of trouble as well. And SortOf is really just pressing in to shut this down. Drops the Parasitic Bomb interestingly enough on the Liberator there. I guess just to kill it off because he knows it's kind of low. I just push in. That Liberator falls. The bottom side base has gone down. And we are still seeing the rest of MarineLorD's army just retreating away. I mean, he's giving up his bases, base after base. And this is going to be SortOf taking this down. Shutting down and... wow. SortOf played a hell of a game, man. Again, he doesn't qualify with this. He still has to play Geralt, but this was pretty crazy. Now just coming over to the right side, gonna grab themselves the command center. Oh man, the command center is gonna a bunch of snipes. I guess no need to take the fire to kill the command center if you're busy taking the fight elsewhere. Again, the Broodlords are doing so much. The Hydra's getting underneath, and there's the GG.